Today we're going to do some outlets, but first we need to do some cleanup. Dreamboat's a little out of hand. I need to do some vacuuming and sweeping and that kind of stuff, and removing of broken things, uninstalled things, packaging, that kind of stuff. So we're going to start with that today, and then we're going to do some outlets and make some decisions about like where we want some of that wiring to be, and we're going to go from there.
Yep.
Let's get started.
Clean up.
Made some space. Now let's get cracking on some wiring. Woo!
I've already removed the outlet that was here. I'm gonna replace it with an outlet and shallow box, and I've had to trim this a little bit wider so that my box fits in it, and I'm pretty much ready to wire this new outlet. Taking the screwdriver and force down this tab, and I'm going to feed the wire in. Now, I want to leave myself a fair bit of slack to manipulate the wire after I've connected the outlet. With these shallow boxes, you don't have a lot of room to manipulate the wires afterwards, and you have to kind of come to terms with a very narrow path to run the wire out of the box to get it back nested in the wall. With this outlet, I'm going to connect the bare wire to the ground over here. The white wire is on this side and the black wire is on this side. So I'm going to go up to my wires in the wall, and I'm going to manipulate them kind of to the sides that they want to be on to be able to do that. You need to have a hook that goes around the screw. On this side, you'll tighten them this way, which means the hook wants to hook downward. Switching to the other side, you'll want your hook to hook upward so the screw wraps it as you tighten.
It's like a weird sculpture.
I've tortured this outlet box into place. The wire really doesn't want to go. You really have to kind of think about it and convince it where to go a little bit at a time. And now I'm going to do the final bit, which is to get this flat into the box. And I'm probably going to have to poke a screwdriver by to adjust the wires a little bit to get them to go where I need them to go. I should mention, when you're going after the outlets like this, always make sure your power's off. In our case, if we're not plugged into shore power right now, we don't have any power on the house current outlets. Also, with the kill switch off, we have no power on the 12-volt circuits either. So everything's off and or not plugged in right now.
That's one. Which outlet would you like to do next?
I'd like to do, I think, the one over here behind you that's higher up the wall, because I'd like to know if it feeds the one below it that I think we want to delete. I don't actually know why there's a junction box here. I've tested it, it is live. I'm wondering if I can put an outlet here, and then I'll actually want to rewire this one as well. But if we put an outlet here, we won't need a junction box sticking out. We'll have an outlet back in set. Looks like this is attached with one wire and there's no slack on it. So I'm thinking I need to get down here and see if I can move this wire up to be able to pull this out a little bit. Nothing to see here.
Anytime you say that, there's something horrible.
I'm not sure what connection I'm going to make here, but I know I'm going to use Wagos, so I'm going to cut off the hyper twisted for the wire nuts because I won't be able to get that into a Wago. That's a lot of it untwisted. Let's see if I can fish this wire directly through. It seems like I can get it through to here and there's an opening, and I can turn it and have it go up to here without having this wire outside the wall.
You want me to feed it?
It's probably going to hang with the insulation, so...
Sending it the other way is better, because we'll try and get it through the little hole on the side we have control of. And then this is a much bigger space to look for it. Come on, I see movement. Yep, stop. I gotcha. Is it looped?
It's probably curved up, so it's either curved up or curved down. I don't know which. You'll find an end going up or going down. Okay. I have a good gap to get through right here, where this cross member is. There's a big.
I see the insulation starting to move.
Yep, good sign. Sounds like it's right here.
I see it.
Nice. How many outlets do we want here? So what do you think we need up there for an outlet?
What I think makes sense is a USB-C combo with a house wall outlet. Really? Weirdo. Really?
What were you saying? What were you? No, you were explaining something, and then you were just.
Stop making me laugh.
It's like an electric cobra.
It's like the boom mic getting in the way. Okay, so I want at least one of these, and we only bought 2 of the expensive outlets.
Yep.
So one of these and one of these.
Side by side up.
Side by side up high. And then, really, still, I think we want this down low. I feel like this type of charging, cut it out, tends to be lower profile.
Yes.
And you could have USB lamps and USB, I don't know what people use.
Yeah.
But iPads, iPhones, Android devices.
Sure.
All of that stuff.
Okay, so we'll put that down low.
It's
like menacing, like that. Here's an electrocution you can have.
Please stop.
We've got the USB down there wired. It's a fully enclosed outlet. It's kind of a different thing. It has its own wires hanging out the back. At any rate, I've removed the junction box that was here, wired that instead, and I've carried the wire forward up to here where I'm going to put 2 outlets side by side. One kind of normal outlet and then one with more USB type connections in it.
I should put one of those 12-volt plugs there. The round ones. Pretty sure we have one somewhere. A spare one. What are you doing?
If I can put an outside outlet right here, I'm just going to pre-run this wire. Because what it's going to do is this one is going to power these 2 outlets, and then coming back down, I can have another outlet in line here. So I'm going to pre-run the wire just while I've got everything open and available. There it is.
Awesome. That's a lot of wire, bud.
It'll make it easier if we need something for something, we'll have it here.
Smart. Plan ahead a little bit. We need zip ties. There were a bunch on the floor everywhere just before we vacuumed.
On the table outside.
Do you want those going in the same hole?
Yes.
Or do you want the tension relieved by popping out another?
No, I need them in the same hole.
Okay. You're fixing that to the rib.
Yep. The box is fixed to the rib.
Would that have been easier to do before?
If I knew confidently what I wanted to get rid of, yes.
Okay. So each outlet has basically, that we've done so far, has had its own set of challenges.
Yeah, they're all, that's unfortunately the way it is. The material it's in, this is metal, that was plastic.
That
the
one,
shape, the size.
That one down there had the junction box.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
The ones over there we're gonna change a little bit.
Yeah, and they had those cuts are horrific.
Yeah, and so that's gonna be interesting to figure out what we can fix over there and make better. But every one of these is a unicorn.
Okay.
So for this outlet, I've got, it's not really a backstab type outlet exactly because it doesn't clamp and lock. I've still got to tighten it down. But black wires up top, 1, 2. White wires, 1, 2. And then I've got to get 2 grounds on the screw at the bottom. Again, another variation, slightly different. We've got a very, very tight situation here where I've wired this USB and USB-C plus normal 120 outlet. All the screws are on this side. I've wired it to this so that I can pull the wires around to wire in the next outlet as normal. Just very tight working conditions, and it's just hard to keep the wires organized, but I will now connect this outlet and have them both nested in here. It's kind of time consuming, very, very finicky, because I don't do this every day. I'm not good at it. This is the last one I've got to put a curve on, and then double on the ground. Every other one is 1 wire, 1 wire, 1 wire, 1 wire. Black's on this side, white's on this side, copper there.
I'm comfortable.
This outlet is the most typical house outlet that's color coded with green for ground. The silver screws get the white wires, and on the other side you've got a more of a gold colored screw that gets the black wires. I'm not going to worry about an outlet plate or final adjustment on these right now. This is just outlets 3 and 4 in place. Again, we need to do rivet work, paint, whatever. So we'll come back and get these lined up better. This is now live. If the circuit were on, at least this would be live. So I'm going to put some Wago connectors on this just so that it's not exposed live ends. And we'll move on to the next outlet. I'll admit there's really no reason to put one on the ground, but here we go. So we're not going to address right now. This is our power pigtail coming in, and those Wago connectors make the connection to what feeds our 120 panel over here.
Until I make a decision about what I'm going to use, and we've returned the Phoenix.
Yeah, Victron Phoenix has been returned. We might get a multi-plus, we might not. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do. Until we address that, that connection is okay the way it is for just basically replacing these outlets and testing them. So we're going to keep going with the outlets because we know that this rusty junk needs to get replaced. So this is going to be the kitchen area. We're going to have some significant loads over here. It'd be nice to have another circuit over here, but today it's really about just kind of cleaning up some of the worst of this old wiring and making it safer. And we'll come back and deal with maybe some additional wiring later. But really, I just want to kind of clean up the worst of the old wiring.
The one that goes into that junction box, do you want to just run clean, fresh?
Well, that's the question, is if I run a little bit of fresh, I can get it further over.
Yeah, let's do that.
Outlet number 5 is in. Nothing complicated about this one. Pretty straightforward. Can't bend the tools around to cut it with the leg in the way, so I'll just break it.
It's weird when it sounds brittle. Is it that glue?
Maybe. All right, we've got outlets 5, 6, and 7 done. These are actually not secured to the wall yet. I'm not sure if we're going to put them here or rotate them over to there, but they're all wired up and looking a lot better than the old junk.